Welcome to the Saturday Top-Up show. Randwick, there are a few key scratchings, so it's perhaps a good idea to reconvene and top up. G'day, Glenn Pollitt. G'day, Gordo.
Oh, g'day, Mark. G'day, Gordo. G'day, everyone.
Morning, Mark. Morning, Glenn.
And the Randwick track has been, well, posted, as you'd imagine. They're talking about the prospect of rain. There is a small prospect of rain. There will be a rain band probably move through at some stage, but we have to keep an eye on the wind. At this stage, the track should be dry enough and the racing should be good enough. Look, the highway race one, not a huge...
Mark, can I just jump in?
Yeah.
Gord, have you had a few bets already this morning on the new Melbourne idea with the 8:20 start at the Dogs, the 8:30 start at the Trots? Do you know anything about this?
No, what's going on?
It's 8:20 was the first at Ballarat. 8:30 was the first at Melton Trots.
Wow. Well, I tell you what, Team Queen's going to have a big day today.
Oh, God, yeah.
What can be the idea behind that?
Oh, my God.
Did you know about this, Mark?
Well, I presume that they had international racing filling those slots once upon a time, and now they've gone, well, you know, I don't know, they've lost that product, I presume, and they're trying to fill that spot.
But isn't there just so much bank to go around? Like, don't you want your punters betting on Saturday afternoon? It's not much good if you're getting Mounting Yard of Mail and you're out of play by race one, Sydney.
It
doesn't really. I can't work it out.
They're trying to turn racing into poker machines.
Yeah, I know.
I turned the racing channel on there to get some more information. It was race 4 Ballarat and about to jump. Race 4.
Hey, I better check the chat room. There's probably been some good tips already.
Oh no. Yeah, sorry to jump in.
They are racing focused today, which is as it should, because it's a great card at Randwick today. The highway, Hellenism and Tajori are sort of battling for favouritism here. The apprentice map maker finally got some maps going, and he suggested that Tajori would actually hold out ready to humble. And we've lost our box seat horse, Glamour Cat, which perhaps gives the opportunity for Hellenism to get into the box seat and cock match one out, one back. How does anything come from further back than that, GP?
I probably can't, Mark. Probably can't.
Anyway, but
there's 4 leading chances in the first 4 in the van.
Yeah, it's so anyway, the horse that Gord was spruiking and me to a lesser extent yesterday is the major firmer in the race. That's Tajori. Glenn, have you got anything else to say about this race, or should we move on?
Let's just bat on.
All right, race 2, a couple of key scratchings, more in terms of speed. So it looks like Bajorn's Ocean Emperor leads, and Equation, who's the biggest firmer in the race, probably gets onto his back. The scratchings, well, I suppose it depends on where Kinloch settles in this race, because there's a good chance that Kinloch ends up way, way forward. We don't know how much pace he's got because we weren't allowed to see it at Newcastle. Gord, have you got a feeling about where he may sit in the run?
Well, I'd assume behind leader.
Okay. And I presume that you would be happy with that.
Yeah, happy about that. But yet again, I've had a big rap on the horse for a while, but this is a very interesting race with some other good animals. Yeah, I think Jeff's information's pretty good.
It's most interesting. Goldie's got that yesterday morning, and it's one of the virtues and benefits of being a Goldie is a very, very different look at 2-year-old races in terms of pedigrees and distance profiles. So I'd encourage anyone to be a Goldie simply just to get access to that style of information. GP, any last minute thoughts from you here?
Still like both those roughies, 5 and 10, Mark. Still pretty keen.
There has been some money for Eliza Beale, and as I mentioned earlier, Equation was the one. It just the race day configuration doesn't really seem to suit the Waller horses, who you would imagine would be ridden very quietly here, given that they're drawn out and they're not necessarily speed horses anyway. And so it'll be interesting to see if they can get into the race and whether the betting says they've got any hope. Race 3. Well, this is the reason for the top-up show. We've lost what GP called a match race. We've lost our matches, Glenn.
Yeah, we have, Mark. It's completely whole different feel in the race.
Yeah, and Gord, have you had a chance to look at this race again, or are you just like not thinking about it because what you saw originally is not there?
I did have another look at it, and I ended up with Sophiella on top, which means I can't bet in the race.
Yeah.
Well, Sophiella's not the kind of horse that I can take 4 to 1 about.
Not the blue colours, Mark. Gord, Lesage?
it just got so many favours to win at Canterbury last start.
I agree, but it is still very lightly raced. It's 8 for 3. It did have the win over Adelong, which it shouldn't have beat. I understand all that, but I thought when you do the form of the race thing, it's A and Sophie Elias B and Dumb Proudy Powers C, isn't it?
I agree with all those 3 selections, but I'm not sure I'll be able to find a bet.
Yeah. Well, I mean, generally, Glenn, when we're looking for a bet, we're looking for that X factor, which, I mean, Lesage has shown us everything she's got. And maybe everything she's got is fine enough to win this race, but it's one of those things where you go, well, there's nothing hidden about this.
No, there is nothing, but that's what my thought was. It might be enough to still win the race.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, when you're talking about, backing the leader against the weak opposition, there's never a problem with that.
Yeah, I wonder if it's so obvious who's fresh and has always run well fresh. I'm not saying it'll run well here, but I'm just wondering if it will actually contest, which could make things more interesting.
The best form it could do something that's so obvious, but that seems a lifetime ago.
Yeah, and the stable seems a lifetime ago as well, doesn't it?
I don't make comments about other anymore, mate.
Okay. But fortunately, in the chat room, we did get a bit of a heads up from the owner of Lashes saying that I see that Adelong's come out. Adelong came out yesterday afternoon, but we're not running Lashes either. She's being saved for 7 days' time. So chat room participants did get a heads up that the field would look like this. Race 4 and a soldier? Well, my tip, Soldier of Fortune, has been Soldier of Love. Sorry, has been the mover in the race. Waller, of course, has scratched his wide barrier horse, True Detective. I don't think that helps his favourite, Gord. I mean, you prefer True Detective to be in the race to be sort of like at least softening up those things up closer.
Yeah, normally in a scenario in which a horse is going to be back and in, the more pace on and the smaller the field is normally an advantage. But I'm saying that's not the case with Subpoena, because it still could find itself in a tricky spot. And I've decided this morning I don't care.
Yeah, okay.
I think it's that much on the opposition. I'm willing to take 2 to 1.
Yeah, well, she has a last start that would pretty much win anywhere. But the good thing is, and I see she's 3+ on the fair, 3,000 matched. The good thing is that you will find plenty of layers, won't you, Glenn, who see
Absolutely.
gate 1 and that map, and they'll go. I don't care. It can't own the race, so therefore I'm getting involved, and it's what you want to see. You want to see opinion be opinion. But not in the steward's room, of course. Race. Have you got anything to add there, Glenn, on that very interesting race?
No, nothing to add there after yesterday's show.
And I suppose we're watching to see what those stayers do. Celestial Falls. He must have had a problem there because he would have been aiming it at the Oaks, and she's missed it. So it'll be interesting to see how she parades with the other lightly raced, promising opacity. And also, I suppose, Rule the World is going to have some fans here, Glenn, because despite the fact that he went like a complete busted first up, he just sails along here in a more sympathetic scenario.
Definitely more sympathetic. It's a good word, Mark.
Okay, race 5, and not much movement here in terms of Masked Crusader, who remains around the $1.80. Let me check what's happening in the land of layers. 12,000 matched and
what price, Mark? $2?
Well, it's $2 to lay. Yeah. So other than that, obviously we made mention of whether Mo's Crown or Seagulass was second pick. That was our battle yesterday, Glenn. Gord, any renewed interest in the favourite, or just it looks like a moral, but I can't really back it?
Yeah, I'm getting a little bit of a whiff that it's going to get into black.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you could entertain backing it if it gets there. I noticed a Top Sport at top odds of 195. Normally, when they're pushing a horse, they're one of the corporates that can have an effect on the market. So we might get a price.
Glenn, how did you think that set up with the Little Birdie betting fund at Warrnambool went through the week? Did you catch that at all?
I didn't see much. I read a little bit about it. I heard it was exciting.
Yeah. Yeah, so it was well, it was a sort of Betfair backed and Top Sport affiliated themselves with the initiative where they basically sold shares like a punters club, and they managed to raise quite a bit of capital. It sounded like the ride was a bit hairy. Gore, did you hear anything about it?
Yeah, I think when you blast out at Timbuktu, or as Glenn likes to say, Katoomba, it's plenty of drama, plenty of entertainment. It was a massive success, but interesting blasting out. Where was it? Townsville or Rockhampton?
What was the story? Was there punting shares? Like, well, how much was a share?
$50, I think.
No, $50, but you could buy however much you wanted, and they had about 300,000 to play with.
Yep.
$50, 300,000.
Mm.
So they had 6,000
shares.
No. I think there was 1,700 because you could buy more.
I understand. Yeah, okay. Yeah. 1,700 players, 6,000.
And so, what was the first bet? Like 30,000 or
25,000 on something. And
what happened to it?
Top Sport were holding the bet, so they were allowed to have 10,000 on things at $6 and use the boost to get $7.50. So
that's a Maria Madonna.
I tell you what, mate. I consider buying shares if they can get on for that kind of money and get those kind of prices. So.
Yeah, they were betting Gordo style as well. I think they live streamed from an apartment.
The blokes were being going off their head.
Yeah.
They were going mad. It was. I didn't watch it.
Is this from the new site Little Birdie, which is involving
Scoot and
Scoot? Yeah. Oh, good on him. Well, congratulations to him for trying something, and that's great.
It was a massive success.
Well, if it's about gambling and about bringing joy to people and everyone having a laugh, and then a corporate's come and then like helping them some boosts and whatever, I think it's great.
Awesome.
It'll be closed. It might be too much fun for this industry. It'll be closed down.
I noticed Gordo's Gold got involved. The first bet of 25,000, he tweeted 0.25 of a unit on the first bet. Barely enough for a seafood platter in the Shire.
Oh, he's a funny bloke, whoever he is.
Sure is.
He's a much loved character.
Okay.
Why can't you swap at the inquiry and we'll bring Gordo's Gold?
I don't know. Would that be? How would you go then? I'm not sure about that.
Funny.
All right, so Batiga ended up staying in the 1800 because he couldn't get a start in the Gosford Cup, and Lure Me In and Gone By are the firmest runners moving into the race, Glenn. It should be a good betting aid, if nothing else.
I was tipping 13 from 2, and they're the firmers, are they? That'd be my...
Yes, you can find a firmer, of course. So, Gordy, are you going to play this race?
Well, I do think there's 3 primary chances, and they're all found in the market and taking up what I consider the correct percentage. So, from a value point of view, no.
Yeah. All right. It is very interesting that Gone By backs up off that super win, and I see Caitlin Mallion's tipping it, Glenn. Our good friend Caitlin Mallion.
Oh, that's good. Good on you, Caitlin. That's a fantastic tip. Well done. She might have got that off me.
She probably did. Representing Bet Easy, of course.
Well, she watches the show.
Also, she's also a fan of your good friend Ryan Robertson.
No comment here. No comment.
Wasn't he? He was Tyre's jockey manager, wasn't he?
He's married to the girl.
Which girl?
Lizzie Joss.
Lizzie, of course. Oh God, it's tight, isn't it?
No, and my comment is no comment.
Race 6. Sorry, that is race 6.
None of them seem to like jokes, and they certainly don't like mine.
No.
I'm not funny to them.
Race 7, Yulong Prince. My tip is the overnight firmer. Let's see if there's anything actually happening in the race as far as Betfair is concerned. So, yeah, that's pretty much all to say. As you were as of yesterday, nothing new here, Glenn?
No, nothing new here from me, Mark.
No, Gord, anything to say?
No, I'll be betting off your sheets. I think you're spot on.
All right. Okay.
You've got to be a gold member to get Mark's price assessments, which are going to be sensational today.
He's hoping the penultimate. And
you don't need to be a gold member to get all the videos. Just email Racing New South Wales. They'll flick them to you.
No,
I hate,
you don't email. You text the chief steward.
yeah.
Okay.
Let's not push it.
I tell you what, you
Oh.
guys, you're starting to get a little bit like bitter old men, you know.
I know. Why wouldn't we be? We spent our whole life punting. Why wouldn't you be a cranky pants?
All right. The penultimate is well, Snitz, Gord. You're one of your sort of key looking plays for the day is the good mover here, and most matched on it. Oh, sorry, there's 7,000 matched on Grey Worm, and it's approaching $4. So a bit of resistance to Grey Worm, and obviously a bit of love for Snitz. I see that the map maker, the apprentice map maker, had Grey Worm crossing Snitz. Do you reckon that'll happen, Gord?
Well, with T. Clark on it, I'd suggest not. You know, and you've got Tommy Berry on Grey Worm. Well, one of them just is a leading, love to lead expert, Timmy Clark, and the other one tends to be a little bit more passive.
Well, T-Berry's funny because sometimes he gets a bee in his bonnet and he gets them out of the gates. I don't know, somehow springs them out of the lids. So he can be a real X factor when it comes to leading from wide gates. Wouldn't you say, Glenn?
I'm not sure if you're allowed to say he's got a bee in his bonnet. That's how gone I am.
Anything fresh from you here, Glenn? Or we
I like Snitz like Gord yesterday. You know, marked him 8-3-1.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing fresh there.
No.
And I think I think what Gord said about Timmy is correct. He'll want the front. What did this map maker have the other one leading? Did he?
He had Grey Worm crossing Snitz.
Yeah.
Which meant that Snitz
well, okay, but
Grey Worm.
He might be right, but I doubt that.
But it is it's a blah map because you've got those two in the van, and then you've got Murillo box seating and all two Royal one at one back.
It's interesting too because it's a sort of race where I could have both of them winners, and also they could chew each other up. So you got to be a bit wary as well.
Yeah, I suppose. Look, there'll be a lot of love for both of them because they're both last start course and distance winners. That don't need luck in the sense they'll be right there.
I'm still trying to get over yesterday thinking Signore Fox only goes at Randwick. That's how tired I am after all these inquiries and form.
All right, the last race, what is it? Back the leader at the mile at Randwick. Rapido Chaparro into $5. I suppose he does just make his own luck, but he's only on the verge of a Saturday horse, isn't he?
It's only on the verge of a Saturday races.
Yeah,
Haven't you guys noticed every time we do a top-up show, which is obviously more often these days, it's so often the one that is backed in the early markets is the one that's going to lead.
Yeah, no, I agree with that.
It's a simple play. There's profitable guys out there that just 9 o'clock in the morning they back the leader.
Yeah, go and drive past Kingsley Bartholomew's place and see how it's gone. It's a fairly successful strategy.
Yeah. I back markers. Can I get a GoFundMe page to get next month's rent?
By the way, crazy price for a horse like Rapido Chaparro.
Too short?
Far too short.
Yeah, I agree.
And obviously great parade interest in this Massaf for Glenn.
Yeah, I can't wait to see this horse. And I'm coming off a very good system with Massaf. I dreamt it one last night. They go good.
I think Mounting Yard Mail's going to be fascinating for this horse. And the good thing is the signs as far as the early market moves are concerned, is there's not going to be a push for it anytime today. So we can wait and still get a value price if it parades accordingly. All
right. Don't forget that Dave Dwyer offers I'd say probably the best bookie service on this program. That's why we're pushing him. He's betting 110% on the last three races today from 11 a.m., which is about the time you'll be watching this show. And Goldies and Silveries are encouraged to put some money in an account with him because he'll give you your sub for the month back. Just click on the ribbon.
And other people out there that want to join, they can join us and get 2 weeks free. Get involved with Day and get a month's sub paid.
Hang on, that sounds like a rort.
I chop it out then. I'm terrified.
No,
terrified.
It's not. Is it? We're just selling to members here. And by the way, all you members, the chief steward, the chief steward wanted to say, well, if members are passing it on, then that's making the show public, which of course it isn't. But that's why we've ended up where we are. But just bear that in mind. This is a show for members, and we love yous all, don't we?
Yep.
Thanks, Jeff Fennick.
All right, guys, we'll be
Yeah.
back. Happy punting today, and we'll be back.
Jeff
We'll be back on Monday with a rant, and hopefully we have some. Well, probably won't have any further information on how the case is proceeding, but nonetheless, we'll have a lot of good racing to talk about, and also we'll have some reviews of the early morning racing at the Dogs and Trots in Victoria.
Right up. See you, boys.
See you guys.
Bye.